Hi, I'm Diane Porter, and I'm happy to introduce Jennifer Hamilton, who's the founder of the Fairfield Cares program. And I'd like to start out by asking Jennifer, what has gotten you interested and so devoted to the mission of elder care?
I think, like a lot of people, I became interested in elder care really for two very natural reasons. One is I have parents, and I watched my parents, like we all have, get older, and their circumstance change from being vital, capable people who were involved in the world and able to take care of themselves and moving forward in their lives to increasingly more frail and more delicate people that required help. And that help was, as is a very natural thing for anyone who has a mother or father. And many of us have done this, where we have stepped forward to care for our aging parents. And that is quite an education, as I'm sure you've all experienced. And it's very humbling. For those of us that have actually moved through this phase of our parents' life with them, from their really dynamic late middle age into the beginning of elderhood and into a very, very delicate, fragile time, and then towards their death. This is, I feel, is an initiatic experience on the real challenges and the joys and the concerns that are before us about how do we care for elders in a compassionate, capable manner. So this was something I did for my parents in different ways. My father ended up in a nursing home, and I mean, he ended up there. This was not something he wanted. It was not what we wanted for him, but his care needs exceeded our ability to care for him at home. We were sort of stuck between the proverbial rock and the hard place of wanting him to be cared for properly and realizing that we weren't going to be the ones that were going to be able to be with him 24/7. So he was placed in a nursing home and he lived there for years. And it was quote unquote a good nursing home. The people there were very compassionate, but it was very understaffed, and they really didn't know anything about my father or what his needs were. This was very heartbreaking for me because my father in life had been such a brilliant and capable physician. He had, and ironically, had devoted his life to developing healthcare systems to make them more available to people. He developed the tertiary care system, which we now have in place. So you have primary care providers, secondary care providers, and tertiary care providers. This was something that my father worked on his entire life. But by the time he became, an old man and had dementia and aphasia, all of that was gone. And the people caring for him had no knowledge of that about him. So he kind of got lost and disappeared in this place.
A tragic experience for anyone to go through.
Very tragic. So then my mother, same thing, and she lived longer. She was able to stay in an assisted living program, which many of you have probably had experience with now. And that worked out pretty well for her because it was here in Fairfield where I was able to care for her daily, and my brother was alive then, and with the two of us really took care of her and provided her with a lot of stimulation and care, and we took her out, and it was actually a good situation for her, but it was because we were there. But this really illustrated for me why elder care is such a it's such a huge issue. Number one, just because we have increasing numbers of people getting older, certainly in our time with our parents, but we too are getting older, and we too are part of that silver tsunami that is now descending on our nursing home system and our care providing systems that we have
Well,
in place.
do you feel that the nursing care system is able to adequately take care of older people when they have to be put in a facility now?
The bad news is that in general, no. What's happening in our nursing homes and even in our skilled care homes, or our assisted living homes rather, is that they are, especially since COVID, that the numbers of people that are available to provide care in these institutional settings is at a crisis level. There are fewer and fewer people able, willing to provide this care. And so what you see when you go into nursing homes now is that you see a lot of elders sitting in their rooms where they've been placed for the day. And there aren't really very many people around. And it isn't because these people don't want to care for these people that are there. It's just that they simply can't take care of all of them in a way that's going to be personal or address very specific needs. So it becomes the most generalized type of care. That means lining people up at 7 in the morning. If you've never been into a nursing home, you might want to go see this phenomenon. It's not unlike what you might see in a barn when you line animals up, cattle up to feed them. You line them up in the hall, and then they are all filed in together. No matter if they're ready to get up or not, they're all gotten up, gotten into their wheelchairs, or prepared to move into the dining hall, where they must sit and remain, whether they want to be there or not, until the designated time of that meal is over. And then they are all moved back en masse, back into their rooms again, where they wait for lunch.
Sounds like a concentration camp.
It is a concentration camp. I call them CAFOs for elders. It is and again, it is not that the people that work there are evil or not. Their intentions are very good, but it's a system that is breaking down, and the quality of care there is very poor. If you haven't had the opportunity to go into a nursing home, I would highly recommend that you do so. And when you go in, the first thing is take a deep breath. Just take in the odor of a nursing home. The next thing is to walk into some of the areas, even in the common areas, and try to imagine yourself in one of those chairs or sitting looking at the wall near the nursing station. Try to put yourself there, because remember, most people do not choose to go to nursing homes. No way. Most people end up there. The times that I've gone into nursing homes with people, almost every time I walk in the door with someone, they say, "Shoot me." They are horrified at the feeling.
They say, "Shoot, please shoot them," rather than let them ever have to go there.
Exactly. Don't ever make me go to a place like this. My mother used to say, "Just put me out on the ice floe." And she meant it. And we protected her from that. But we had the wherewithal to do that, and not everyone does.
Well, it
So
sounds like economics are a very deciding factor in this.
Yes.
So
And
what's the answer? What's the alternative? What do you vision as an alternative to this?
so the alternative is actually a new paradigm. This paradigm does not work. It is not working for anyone. It's not working for the elders. It's not working for the people that live there. It actually isn't even working for the people who have bought these places, because the vast majority, including the nursing homes that are in our community, these are not owned by local people. These are owned by business concerns that may own 12, 20 nursing homes, and they are looking to make a profit. It is an investment for them.
Excuse me while I barf.
Yes, it's pretty appalling. And even in my quiet clandestine conversations with the people that work in these places, they'll all say, you know, this is what's happening. It's that it's very apparent that the only concern of the people that now own this place is the money. And what they do is they are able to take monies off by absolutely keeping the care to the minimum, services to a minimum. That includes any kind of activities, any kind of the meals that people eat, that the so-called food that they're giving people. There should be programs for stimulation, activities that take them outside of the building. These have all disappeared or are disappearing because they take away from the bottom line. It's a tragedy. So what we need is a new paradigm. And fortunately for us, the paradigm exists.
Aha.
Fortunately for us, it's a tried and true paradigm. The idea of elder care is shifting from institutional, hierarchical, medical model-based care into elder-centric care. That is care provision that is really built around the specific needs of each person that lives there. And the residential building that they're in is actually a home. It is not a hospital that's parading as an old folks home. It's actually a real home. It has a kitchen that they have access to where they can get up and if they want, they can make a snack. It's a place where people can congregate, where it smells fresh and healthy, where they have access to the outdoors. They can have gardening if they want to do that. They can do any kinds of activities that they're capable of doing. They try to facilitate those. So these are small homes. They're usually run about 10 to 12 people per home, and they're staffed by a very different kind of worker. These are more broadly trained. So they do not only do they do the daily cares for the person that needs those skilled cares, but they also help with cooking, cleaning, and maintenance. And they are trained to do this, and they are remunerated accordingly. So these are real living wages that these people are making in these new paradigm homes. The paradigm that within this paradigm, the group that has the best track record, which is the one we would like to bring to Fairfield, is a group called the Greenhouse Project. So that's 3 words, where it's Greenhouse Project. And the reason they call it greenhouse is that the idea that you are not just growing plants, but you're actually growing people, that this is a place to thrive. These are been built around the United States. They are extremely successful. They are successful not only and most importantly for the people who live there, but they are financially sustainable. People that we've talked to that have these facilities say that they have wait lists for people waiting to get into these types of care. So this is the paradigm that we want to move into, away from these institutional settings where you will have 50 people that are cared for by 2 people will be caring for 50 people, into these small homes where you have 10 to 12 people being cared for about four people are taking care of these elders. This is very exciting. It's very uplifting and very encouraging for those of us that are yet still able-bodied. But in all honesty, if you make it to 65, you have a 50% chance of needing to be in skilled care for 2.5 years of your life. Take that to heart. What we're doing is we're preparing this for ourselves, and we're preparing this for our next generation. So this is a project that we have begun here in Fairfield. We are in the midst of our initial steps, our market study. We've found property that we are in the process of seeing if we can obtain it. And we're beginning our very necessary work of fundraising, because our mission for this project is that it be a private nonprofit, which means that it won't just be for rich people, nor will it be dependent on the very confining and defining requirements of Medicaid. It will be something that poor people can have access to, because we're hoping to build a wonderful donor base that will provide us ongoing support for this project, so that we can be able to better care for ourselves and our loved ones in the years ahead.
It seems like a great thing for people to donate to. Everybody either has parents or is going to be old at some time, we hope. So, or if not, then we won't be needing our money anymore. So I think this seems like a very inspiring thing to be part of.
Yes, and so we are accepting donations for anyone who would like to donate towards this project. We will be developing a foundation here shortly, specifically for the development of our greenhouse project here in Fairfield. So if you're interested in that, please contact us at fairfieldcares.net. And there's a link there to have there's a phone number as well as an email address that you can contact us.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. This is quite an inspiring vision. Very wonderful to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's very exciting to feel the momentum happening. I really feel like this is going to happen. And the more of us that come together to actually materialize this dream, the better, and the sooner we'll have them built.